Hey, I'm Slash, and you're watching Wikimetal.
Depois de 3 anos, Slash está de volta ao Brasil com sua banda The Conspirators. Nesse mesmo palco, no Espaço das Américas, eles vão mostrar o disco que foi lançado no ano passado, World on Fire. Grande Slash no Wikimetal! I'm here with one of the greatest guitar players of all time, Mr. Slash. How are you, Slash?
Okay.
You released one of the best albums of 2014. I think it's probably your best solo album. Do you agree with that?
It's definitely something that I've been really proud of, just to see where the band has evolved to at this point. You know, I thought it's a good band in general anyway, but to see it sort of grow from a songwriting point of view and just tonally and in the studio, so I'm really looking forward to the next one. But yeah, you know, I never sort of compare all the solo stuff too much. You know.
And how about your partnership with Miles? Have you found the definite partner? Do you
We
think?
definitely have a really good personal and creative synergy going on, which is great. I haven't worked with anybody like that in a long time.
In the 80s, I think you brought Gibson Les Paul back to mainstream popularity. I think even Les Paul recognized that. How is it for you to have that kind of recognition?
I played a Les Paul, and I don't know what was going on with the Les Paul before or after.
But you had a relationship with Les Paul.
I did
right?
have a great relationship with Les. Yeah.
How was it like for you? Like
It was
legend,
it
right?
was a legend. Yeah, it was an honor to know him. I mean, when I first heard of Les Paul, I thought it was only a guitar. It was my grandmother that told me, no, there's a man named Les Paul, and she turned me on to Les Paul records. And when I got to jam with him in like 1990, I think it was 1991 or something like that, we became good friends, you know, and I was always very inspired by him.
This year we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of the most important Brazilian festival, Rock in Rio. I was there in '91. What do you remember of that fantastic evening?
It was just an amazing fucking experience. It was like not really knowing in any way, shape, or form what to expect, you know, just going to this unknown place as far as playing is concerned, and just do a gig, and just to be received that way and with so much feeling and heart, you know. And that's why, you know, we've had this relationship with Brazilian fans ever since, you know. There's this kind of connection.
Which partners of singing, songwriters, and guitar players are you most influenced by?
When I first started, it was definitely the Stones, and then it was Aerosmith and Zeppelin and AC/DC. Even though I listen to them all the time, but for inspiration, you know.
But how is it like to be a hero for so many kids everywhere?
That's another thing. I'm just, you know, I would never know it except for every so often a kid will come up at the hotel or something like that, or after a show, and say, you know, I inspired them to play guitar. And it's very surreal, and I appreciate it. It's like the biggest compliment. But it's even if you ask other guitar players the same question, they don't see themselves as being the person that is the hugest influence or a big influence on anybody, because we're just busy tinkering on the guitar and not really thinking about the impact that it has on other people.
You played many times with Michael Jackson and Lenny Kravitz. Probably his biggest hit is one of your riffs. You're more like a team player. You like to work with other people.
I like working with different people because I'm inspired or, you know, influenced, or I just appreciate what it is that they do. And I love to, it's an honor to be able to work with somebody that you think is really good. And it's also a great learning experience because everybody's different, and you learn to adapt so that you don't just stay inside your own bubble and you can only play by yourself, or with the musicians that play your stuff the way that you play it. It's nice to be able to sort of branch out and play with other people, and you grow as a musician.
Mama, don't you cry, don't you worry.
How about music today? Do you agree with Gene Simmons when he said that rock and roll is dead?
The business itself is not what it was in the 80s and even the early 90s, 80s, 70s, and all that. It's really, really changed a lot. But at the same time, it's changed in such a way that it's still trying to find itself after the whole sort of internet explosion. And so eventually there'll be sort of a rock movement that's going to come out of nowhere and surprise everybody. So I wouldn't be as negative about it as Gene is, but I do appreciate that it's in a bad way right now.
What kind of music do you like to listen to? Who do you think are doing a great job?
I mean, there's a couple bands that we've toured with that I think are really good. There's a band called Monster Truck from Canada that's really great. And then there's some a little bit more obscure bands around. There's one called Scorpion Child that's pretty cool. And there's a band that I know in LA called Hillbilly Hero, which is like a really great kind of AC/DC kind of band. And I'm hoping that those guys will be able to sort of break out and so on.
Do you think you have more influence from your Black and English heritage or from your LA roots?
I hated all the stuff in LA in the 80s when I first started picking up the guitar, but as a kid growing up, it was mostly British stuff, and then when I moved to the States, then there was a whole bunch cosmopolitan, type of influence from jazz and blues to like sort of new rock and roll coming out of it, folk music and all this different stuff. So that was all very inspiring. In the 80s, it was still mostly British bands. I didn't like the LA bands that were coming out.
That's cool. And you guys changed the whole scene in LA, I suppose. At the time, it was before and after you guys.
We were sort of like the guys that came in and sort of didn't want to do it the way that everybody else was doing it. So we sort of stuck out.
How about the music market today? Like you've been through so many changes in the music industry since you released your first albums. It's been almost 30 years, and you saw vinyl, cassette, and now after that MP3s, and now streaming. How is it for you? Do you work differently because of these changes, or you do the same?
I try. I do mostly the same. I still record to tape. I still put stuff out on vinyl, just because I still think that was the most personal and best sounding way of doing it. The MP3 and all that kind of stuff doesn't sound very good, but it's so fucking easy and so fast and so convenient. But when it comes down to it, I think it's really the most important thing is about the music that you make, and whatever is convenient for you to be able to acquire it or record it on. It's a lot cheaper to do it digitally, but at this point in time, I still like to do it on analog.
Would you like to leave a last message to your fans that have been following you for almost 30 years?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to say thank you for all the enthusiasm and the support that's been going on, especially, from Guns N' Roses, for me, all the way throughout, but especially for this band who's been coming here. I think this is our third trip here. And the amount of people and the excitement and the energy has just been unbelievable. And so I got to say thanks for that. It's really, really great.
This is Sledge on Wikimetal. Thank you so much.
All right, cheers.